दानापुर, अहमदाबाद,
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express, পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন. कृपया ध्यान दो.
Well, they've done it in Dubai, Brabant, Wankhede and twice at Chennai. Will Punjab turn on the heat at Dharamsala or will Chennai end their 5-match losing streak to Punjab? We'll find out on Cricbuzz Live. With me, I've got Shaun Pollock and Bhattacharjya in the house. Welcome, gentlemen. Are you all set for a super Sunday, a nice long double header that we have in store today?
Absolutely. And you're in bright colors. You're clearly showing which side you're supporting right now.
Well, this is just to...
I just wanted to know that you're so far supporting the other side.
I'm supporting Australia in the IPL. Let's just say that. Supporting Australia only for the IPL.
We're not buying it. We're not buying it. That's CSK through and through.
Well, Australia for me, but Paulie's not buying it. But it's going to be a reverse fixture today. We saw what happened a few days ago. They go to Chennai at the Chepauk, beat them there. So Punjab coming in as favourites for you all?
Yeah, I think they would come in. I mean, they must be feeling confident about it, but it's do and die for them. So they have to produce. They're going to have to keep producing that good cricket. I think they'll be excited about the way they've played in the last few games. CSK, it's been a bit disjointed for them. I mean, they couldn't defend 225 at home. Then they had a game, this last one against Punjab, which they obviously lost as well. There's been people flying all over for visas and passports and coming back and forth. So they need to try and settle this campaign down. They're far from five wins, 5 losses. And this is a key game for them. So I think it's a vital encounter. And it's a very beautiful, picturesque place to take place. You have to have this as a day game, don't you, Joy?
Absolutely.
You can't have it as a night game.
Place,
exactly.
Yes.
You can't miss out on this.
No, you've got to keep the mountains up.
And also let the players have some kind of coolness around them because otherwise it's just been so hot everywhere. With Dharamsala, at least there'll be a little bit of coolness.
Absolutely. And, they'll be hoping that somewhere Ruturaj learns to win a toss. He's lost 9 of the last 10 tosses.
Well, he's not.
9 of the last 10.
He's not learnt it yet.
Oh, God, don't tell me.
Yes.
Give me the bad news.
Yeah, so Punjab have won the toss and they've decided to bowl first. Unfortunately, Ruturaj has lost yet another toss. I don't know what it is with him and not getting any tosses right. It's like a prediction game. You're just not getting anything right.
Poor guy. I mean, he's just so much as a player. He's done everything else right. That coin, he just cannot control.
Yeah, he can't control the coin. But let's have a look at the points table just to understand why this is so important for Punjab. They need to win all their games from here. And for Chennai, they want to get out of that 10-point muddle. They've been there for quite some time.
Yeah, they have. They've been on that 10 points for a long period. It's almost like they haven't got a visa at this stage to get on to 12. They're waiting to get that visa and that invite to be able to move on to into the top 4. But, they're almost too good a team. And it's actually been their bowling that hasn't been that strong, which I'm surprised at because I think they've got a good unit. But Punjab, they sit in on 8. And basically for them, they have to start winning. It's becoming a do or die. At some stage in the tournament, you kind of face your possible elimination. And they're not far off that.
But for Punjab, they... have been on this incline and going on this rise, but they have to win all their games. And if you see their fixtures, they're playing against all the teams which are above them in the points table.
Yeah, big teams. They're playing big teams from here on. But look, that's the point. Once you reach this stage of the tournament, it doesn't matter who you play. Because there's nobody who's really a bad team. The only team I think whose heads are really drooping right now, you have to say is Mumbai. Mm-hmm. Because you look at the bottom of the table also. I mean, teams like Bangalore, they're looking very positive. Yes. Punjab has just won 2, so they're also positive. You look at Delhi, they're also saying that, we have a chance. So all these guys, none of them, their heads are drooping. I'd say the only team that looks dispirited at the moment, and it's difficult to say at this point, difficult to say when we take a look at the start of the tournament, is Mumbai. Mm. So every other game is a game. Like, if you come and play against RCB now, you're playing against a side who's really confident.
Yes.
So they may be under you, but they're really confident. So I think none of that matters. They're not going to look at that schedule. They're just going to say one game at a time. And if you look at it, the difference between them and Chennai is Chennai can drop 1 out of their next 4 games.
Yes.
Yeah. But if Chennai drops that 1 game, they lose out on a chance on basically being for the first, second place. Because I think with 8, you're not going to be in first, second place, definitely. With 9, maybe. Even 9 is a long shot, I'd say. But with 9, they may have a chance of being first or second. I mean, second, not even first. There's no question of coming first. But with 8, I mean, that means basically when you go to that eliminator, you're going to play 2 more games to reach the finals.
But the point's valid because you say they've got to play the top teams. The top teams don't ever put out a weak side. Not at this stage of the tournament because how valuable 1 and 2 are. So they'll be continuing to put out their best sides. If you've got a few fixtures against maybe Mumbai or RCB and they lose one of their games and basically they're eliminated, then that's the time when they say, okay, well, let's have a look what this guy's capable of doing. Let's give this guy an opportunity. And then those games might be easier to win. But they're going to have no easy ones. It's going to be the hard path for them.
Well, for Punjab, they're playing, like you said, RCB is looking very strong and they're just riding high on confidence. They'll be playing Bengaluru. They're going to be playing Rajasthan as well. And they play Hyderabad. So like we said, they're playing all the top teams.
The interesting one is, if today Punjab loses, I mean, then they're in trouble. Then they're in the same boat as RCB and all night. Then it becomes really difficult for them.
Then you bring the calculators out. And
then they'll probably, you still look at the Bengaluru game and see where it's going. But after that, the next 2 teams probably have it. Can you just put that back again? The next 2 teams will probably have a
So there's Rajasthan and Hyderabad.
So Rajasthan then say that, okay, we might just get an easy game to consolidate our place at the top. Sunrisers might get an easy game. So it all really depends because once they reach that stage is when they're going to be at that point where by that time also Rajasthan may have already clinched first or second although.
But Paulie, at this point in the tournament, yes, they have to win all their games, but clearly you go 1 game at a time, right? You're not going to be looking forward into what we are playing Rajasthan, we're playing Hyderabad. It's about what we're doing today.
No, 100%. You've got to focus your skills on who you're going to be up against, what bowlers are you going to be facing, what batters are you going to be bowling against. But as a human being, you can't help but just have a little sneak ahead. And the key to it is whether you've got a chance. We talked about it last night. If there's hope, there's life. And if they haven't got a chance, then they actually don't really matter about it. But for now, they're pretending they're just focusing, but come on, let's try and get through to the playoffs and let's see what we can do.
But I'm just very surprised if someone had told us before the tournament that Punjab and CSK could be at the same points. CSK fans wouldn't have bought that. Like if Punjab win today, they'll go to the same points as CSK. Something just seems off color. They don't look as bright as my yellow. They seem to have gone a little pale, CSK, do you think, this season?
Yeah, and lots of reasons for it. So if you look at the one reason that you look for it definitely is the fact that their batting is not firing. Okay, Conway is a big loss. Rahane was batting at 170 strike rate last year. He's batting at about 122, 123 strike rate this year. Huge difference there. And Jadeja, that 4 position is just not worked out. Dhoni, I don't think they want to risk for more than 2-3 overs. So their batting is not that strong a unit. Their bowling is just denuded by injuries and, visa needs. So Mustafizur is gone. These guys, Patirana and Thikshana missed out matches to go and get their visas. Tushar Deshpande had flu. Deepak Chahar is out of the tournament. Now you're talking about you have 4 frontline bowlers. 4 frontline bowlers have gone in and out. 2 of them now will be back. But you've lost Chahar for the tournament. You've lost Mustafizur for the tournament. These are big losses. So no team can survive and go on, without perturbations of the kind they have. And I've always said this, a lot of people say, Trevor Bayliss, who's now the coach of Punjab, who's been coaching today, and we were talking about how you win IPL tournaments. And he said, the single most important way to win an IPL tournament is luck. Luck with the toss and luck with injuries. Not having injuries.
Both have not gone CSK's
such a big way.
Toss and injuries.
Neither has gone their way.
Yeah.
If you remember the last match, they were literally 2 matches they bowled with literally sopping wet balls.
But it's just not that, Paulie. It's just kind of, when CSK comes in, the atmosphere is just coolness, calmness. We've kind of seen Dhoni lose his cool once. We're just seeing too many changes happening. So clearly something's not the usual, it's not the usual CSK camp.
Yeah, they're not clicking. They honestly just aren't clicking. You look at even some of the interviews that they do. Stephen Fleming came out and said, well, we're not sure what the right combination is. We haven't settled into our right combination. The other thing that hasn't been working out for them is the pitches. I was at home when they were playing that 225 game, and we had a dinner function, and I came through just to check the score. 225. Okay, game sorted. There's no ways they lose defending 220 at the Chipak. So and it was won easily. So it's not all settled, but that's the nice thing about the IPL. Not every campaign goes according to plan. You have to find a way, and if they can squeak in to the playoffs, they've got that experience of being in the back end of the tournament, so things can maybe work out for them, and then they'll be a little bit more settled in what team they decide to go with. So it's not all doom and gloom, but it clearly hasn't been one of the easier campaigns.
Well, let's have a look at Chennai's playing 11. We spoke about the changes they've been making. Usually it's copy-paste for Chennai, but not so much this season. They have two changes. Santner comes in, Tushar Deshpande comes in. We were expecting Tushar Deshpande to come in. Fizz is out because he's gone away now. But Santner coming in to Dharamsala, is that a surprise?
It is a surprise. I'll have to say Santner coming in is a surprise simply because does that mean that the Sri Lankans have not returned? Because Thikshana, Pathirana,
yes.
no Pathirana here.
I mean, he had a niggle the last game, but in 5 days, one would imagine he'd be better.
Because this is not, as I said, we just saw the pitch report, Brian Lara, and also this is not a pitch that suits spin. Plus, it's a really small ground. So, very, very interesting.
You've got your 4 internationals there, so even Pathirana obviously isn't back.
No, he's not.
And death bowling on this surface could be vital. The only thing I'm thinking back to is when we played the World Cup there. You remember the game against New Zealand and Australia?
Yeah.
It was the spin who kind of pulled it back. The rest of them were disappearing. And I remember Santner actually going okay. So I don't know if that maybe has influenced it, but I'm with you. I think they haven't got back in time in order.
Apparently, I mean, there was an Insta picture of them, so I'm not sure. It's a big call if you're not playing Pathirana.
No, let's just have a look at the impact list. Pathirana can't come in because the 4 overseas are already there. So Simarjeet or Mukesh Chaudhary, Prashant Solanki can bowl the spins. I mean...
Yeah, so they've got a spinner, they've got 2 fast bowlers, they've got a spinner, they've got 2 bats out there. I'd say, I mean, Samir Rizvi is there in case the batting collapses. That's correct. The only reason he is there. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I mean, Pathirana must be unfit. There can be no other explanation for it. Santner did have a decent outing. I remember Santner did have a decent outing, but they're seeing something that even Brian Lara didn't see in this pitch. So it's interesting.
The only other thing too is it's very good to have Deshpande back because his shape is through the air. I mean, that's altitude. That's like playing in Johannesburg. You do get that initial little bit of movement. And that's where they've been good exponents, even in the Chepak in Chennai. Him and Chahar have been wonderful up front with that new ball. So Chahar will be missed. But Deshpande coming back, he'll hopefully try and pick up some early wickets for them.
But this is what we were talking about, right? It's not very CSK-like. One, obviously, they're riddled with so many injuries and maybe the Sri Lankans are not back. But usually with CSK, they have a template and a plan they follow. It doesn't seem to quite be happening this season.
Yeah, they just don't have the pieces. And I said, it's a combination of luck, combination of injuries, combination of some players underperforming. They're not sure of what their best lineup is. And it's a very telling thing, as he said. If Fleming, who's one of the best interviewers, he tells it as it is, says that we are not yet sure of our best lineup. You can be sure that there's a lot of scratching their heads going on, saying, how do we make it work? Interestingly, Santner has been somebody who is really somebody they really like. He's been around for a long time. They've always wanted to give him opportunities because they really rate him. But, Santner is a bit like Duplessis used to be with them before Hussey was there. Hussey used to be there, Duplessis used to be the second bat, never used to get a chance because Hussey was ahead of him. Only when Hussey left did Duplessis get his chance in CSK. So I think Santner is the same. He's just been waiting for his chance. They rate him. I hope he does well today.
Well, Punjab are doing CSK-like things. We'll have a look at their playing 11. They have gone unchanged and not surprising there, Polly, because they have gone and beaten KKR at the Eden Gardens, gone to Chepauk, beaten Chennai at the Chepauk. So why would they change around a winning formula? Yeah,
especially you put 2 South Africans in the mix and all of a sudden you really well. You've got to keep these things in mind. But I like that setup. It looks good. I think particularly in the bowling front for me, obviously there's some younger names there, some that I'm not really as familiar with as I've been over the years from the batting perspective, but that bowling unit looks good and they've struck gold up front, and that's we always talk about it, that opening partnership. Johnny Bairstow, getting the ginger man in the top of the order, he's also getting some runs and playing really well, so I like the look of them, and as you say, with confidence, if you go to Chepauk and do a victory, you've got to be walking away going, we're in this.
Yeah, this is the team. We don't want to change anything around.
Yeah.
We'll have a look at the impact subs as well. This is their bowling 11. So Prabsimran, the obvious choice to come in.
Yep, Prabsimran, the obvious choice to come in, definitely. I mean, again, there's nobody else cover up as a bowler. Rishi Dhawan, again, all-rounder, can do a bit, but yeah, no. I think Prabsimran, if there's a collapse, Harpreet Singh Bhatia, but I think Prabsimran up front. He comes in, comes 1 and 2, and you have Russo batting at 3. That's how they look at it.
They're striking it nicely as well. They've seen some good innings from this season.
He's had a couple
He's been looking good, yes. But, Chennai are going to be batting first, and it's usually very cool in Dharamsala, but somebody who might need some jaldi cooling from the India point of view is Ravindra Jadeja, which is why I want to go to our experts and ask them for the coolest advice powered by Crompton Air Coolers, jaldi cooling. With Jadeja, he's been batting at 4, and that's kind of been a little confusing with the Team India perspective. Ajit Agarkar spoke about it. He said that Rahul missed out because he's up at the top. So how do you think Jadeja is going to transition from this 4 to becoming that lower middle order finisher?
Yeah, I mean, when he goes back to play for India, I'm sure he'll go back to 6 and 7 and try and do the finishing job. I just think that the thing is overthinking it. Really, sometimes, there might be a day where you're batting and your team doesn't lose a wicket and someone comes to you and says, listen, we want you to move you up the order. We want you to go in at number 4. And you're so excited, you put your pads on, you go and play. And even at number 4, sometimes you'll come in early, but most of the time you still come in after 10, 12 overs, and he should be able to deal with that. So I just think he's maybe overthinking this number 4 role, and he just needs to go and bat those natural instincts. He's such a wonderful player. We saw him in the Test series get some good scores. Just go and back yourself. Just watch the ball and don't think about it too much. Think about like almost a one-day international game where you come in with 12 overs to go as a number 7 batter because it's a 50-over game, and you just play from there, and that's what he's got to do.
Well, we know the finisher he can be, Joyda, but do you think that pressure of Rinku not making it to he's made it to the reserves but not making it, do you think that might be playing on Jadeja's head, saying he has to take over that role as well?
See, Rinku's not yet made it, so it's not even that he's replacing Rinku.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in our heads that Rinku has made it and is being replaced. I think Jadeja will just be delighted to go back to his 6 and 7 because that's his natural habitat. It's now that he's struggling because it's a role that he's not as familiar with. I think once you put him back at 6, you just say, go play your natural game because that's Jadeja. 6, 7 destroys you with the batting, will get a few run-outs. And if you see his record there, 142, 130 is not that great, but 5 also is brilliant, 168. And there also there could be a little bit of, who's right-handed, who's left-handed. So he could go in at 5 for India, but it's unlikely. More likely to go in at 6 and 7. And he's got some big averages out there.
You'd also say sample size, small sample size. Yeah. 3 innings, you can't really judge someone on that. I mean, if he comes out, smashes 100 or 40 balls. Oh, number 4 is your position.
True, very true.
Well, he's been doing everything with the ball and in the field. We'll see where he plays and if he smashes a big 100. Let's have a look at the coolest advice that you all have written in. We always like having a look at what you all write in. So let's have a look at the coolest advice that our fans have written in. Murlidhar says, my coolest advice for Chennai. Oh, lots of pointers there. 1, Rahane should be sent at number 3 instead of opening. 2, Daryl Mitchell should be replaced by Mitch Santner. There, they heard you. And 3, Dhoni should come up in the batting. Very clear pointers there. We'll have a look at the next one. Let's have a look at what Nikhil has to say. Give Mukesh and Simarjeet opportunities ahead of Shardul Thakur. Interesting. We'll wait and see if that happens today. But congratulations to the 2 winners for winning the coolest advice powered by Crompton Air Coolers, Jaldi Cooling. You all know it. There are 2 winners every game. So if you all have any quirky, cool, serious, I think the advice is getting serious now. Just write in and tell us what your coolest advice powered by Crompton Air Coolers, Jaldi Cooling is. And 2 lucky winners will win every match. So jaldi say write in and tell us what your advice is.
I think we've got 2 people sitting at home with yellow shirts on. And they're sick and tired of their team being 50-50 in their performance. And like, come on, it's time to produce now. Let's go with this combination. We've had enough. So that's why.
This is the Dhoni end of the tournament, as they say.
Yeah, Dhoni end of the tournament. And also the first tweet, a lot of pointers on how Ajinkya should come 1 down and very, very CSK-like. It almost feels like there were Excel sheets made and it was sent in with that purpose in mind. But Joyita, Punjab coming into Dharamsala, they don't really like to play in their home venues, do they? Because since last year, they've played 12 games in their home, 3 designated home venues, and they've won just 10.
Absolutely. No, they won just 2 of their 10.
Sorry, 2, I'm sorry.
2 of their 12.
Yeah.
1-6, ridiculous. And look, I think that's the point, that they just do not... Mulanpur is a surface they also don't know. And Mulanpur is a surface they don't know at all. It's a new surface. They started this year. It didn't seem to suited them the first match. They seemed to do well there. But after that, the next 3 matches they've lost out there. Dharamshala has always been a problem to them because Dharamshala is like both teams are visiting teams. They're also walking in there. They're seeing the conditions. It's not as if Punjab has a camp in Dharamshala. And see, these are issues that you've got to face. And I think it's a genuine issue for that. The teams that have a home ground that they're really used to versus having to go here and there to play matches, it makes a huge difference. And I think that, while the ownership looks at is that okay, one more ground that you're going to do, it's not good for the team. If you ask the coaches, the only reason this time the coaches will probably say, let's go to Dharamshala as a home ground is because Mulanpur is not doing well for them at all.
Yeah, because they've won only 1 out of the 5 in Mulanpur. But Polly, you please tell us, because you've played, you've coached, how much does it affect the team when you keep moving bases?
Yeah, it does affect you. I mean, you get a good vibe. You get into a certain dressing room, you feel comfortable there. You can almost leave stuff in lockers and, you don't have to change from time to time. You also know what you're kind of going to get. And you have your experiences. So what is it, 7 games a year? You kind of work out how the particular pitches play, what you might encounter, how they might adjust themselves. If you're going to split those 7 games up into 3 or 4 venues like they do. I mean, I know we had one year for Mumbai where we were out to the D.Y. Patel for a couple of our home games. And then Brabant Stadium, that one was difficult. Completely different kind of conditions. I mean, they might only be 500 meters away from each other, but it's completely different. So it is a bit disjointed because you get your combinations going and you want to try and keep a nucleus of the side together. But if you go and play at one venue where it suits the seamers, then you maybe play extra 2 seamers in that game. Then you come to this one and it's spinners. So now you make 2 changes and this guy plays spin a little bit better and it gets too complicated. I understand about spreading the game and keeping a wide fan base in place, but it's not ideal. I thought once they left Mohali, things were going to turn around, but unfortunately it hasn't for them.
And especially at this point in the tournament for Punjab, because they can't afford to lose anything. So now to move to a new base, you don't know what the pitch is going to be. It's just going to add more complications.
Yeah, the only thing is that they're sick of Mulanpur.
Yes.
So they're probably saying, okay, anything. And I'll tell you one thing, Punjab has been a very interesting team. It's actually been in many years, it's been a very good away team.
Yes.
I remember in 2012, they beat Mumbai in Mumbai, they beat Chennai in Chennai, they beat KKR, who was champions that year in KKR. So this year also, they're looking like a very good away team. Going to other people's conditions, enjoying themselves, playing very passionate, free cricket and winning. So I think they'll just have to say, treat this as an away game, you probably have a better chance of winning it.
Well, they're just like teenagers who don't want to stay at home and they want to be out and away. We've got a very interesting question coming in from a fan. Please, let's have a look at it because he asks, Naveen Kumar asks, should umpires get a ban for Badoni and these head run-out type calls? Boo.
I don't think a ban. That would be a little bit strong. But I'm a firm fan of believing there needs to be a little bit more responsibility. They've got technology now which can change decisions. But still, I think, in many ways, it could be a report card that comes out once a week where people can gauge how they've gone. I know it's not an easy job. It is a very tough job. But at the end of the day, if you've had a few bad games, well, actually, you just sit on the bench for a few games and then we'll bring you back. Because you want the right decisions to be made. And they're all human. They're going to make the mistakes. But I think accountability, there's nothing wrong with the umpires being accountable for some decisions.
I have 2 points. One is that instant decisions can go right or wrong because, you're just calling it as it is. To be wrong as a third umpire.
Yeah, exactly. As a third umpire, you're taking so long.
Issue. You're taking all that time, you've seen the bat grounded there. That shows either ignorance of the rules or forgetting of the rules. I don't understand. The bat was grounded before it went up again. And the rule now is that once the bat is grounded, it's counted as grounded. So 2 things. One of the other things, my favorite bugbear, every match, when I was a part of KKR, you'd get umpires, a match first to sign the, match scorecard, but also rating the umpires. What was the rating?
The management got this.
The captain got
it.
Now the point of it is that you are putting out after every match, you're putting a Flair Play Award, which is basically the umpires rating the teams or the match referee rating the teams. In which case, why don't you put out a list of umpires with the
Wrong decision.
Yeah, no, with the captains, what is the umpires rating by according to captains? Because it's only fair. If one is going to be judged by the other for fair play, the other should be judged also for their capacity to give good decisions. And I feel really this third umpire, you shouldn't be, as a third umpire to get it wrong is I think much more worse than for an umpire to get it wrong there. But Polly, I wanted to ask you on one more thing. This Rovman Power in the last match, the LBW, the Rajasthan, that raises an interesting question that if at that point it was not out, okay, and the umpire had immediately raised his finger, the ball's dead. The run is not complete.
I've gone to the RCC with this.
Seriously?
As a South African who's never won the World Cup, if we get to a last ball situation and this happens, I was making sure they're protected. So, example is you've got 3 to win off the last ball. There's an in-swinging Yorker. It clips a guy on the foot, goes down, it's going to beat fine leg and go away to the boundary. But the decision is give you out. You review and it shows missing the leg stump. The game's over and you've missed out on your 3 or 4 runs. So I think the plan, particularly in the last overs, needs to be let the play out. If the guy gets hit on the pad, there's a big appeal and they want to go for a run, let the run happen, let everything do. Then the umpire makes his decision and then you can go back to making a short call on the DRS system. Is it out? Isn't it out? And if it's not out, then how did the ball or how did the rest of that delivery play out? Did it go to the boundary?
I'm sorry, so you will let them, for instance, they take the 2 runs, after that's done, then the umpire said it was
then he can make a score, like VAR, right? So sometimes they allow the soccer the guy to attack the penalty area, shoot, and if he gets it in, then they go back and review. Because, as you say, it would be so silly in a World Cup final if you need 3 off the last ball, it hits the boot, goes to the fence, and it's given out, and you review and it's not out, but you lose your 3 runs. And then the game's lost. Absolutely. Playing the advantage, as it were, in football. I mean, absolutely. I think it's a brilliant suggestion because why did you think of it? No, it's a couple. Yeah, exactly. As a South African, we don't want to go to a game where we manage to get down to win the World Cup and then actually hold on. Let's have a look.
No, we know what happened in 2019 as well. So when it goes into these grey area zones, it can be heartbreaking, obviously, not only for the team, but also for just the fans who are so invested in the game. So having this grey area is just really not fair.
How close some of these games get, even just during general play. Any time a decision's made and the umpire gives it out, that ball can disappear down to the boundary. Those runs are lost forever.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do to get them back. And you see games, we had one the other night. 1 run made a difference and they ended up winning. So, I think they need to maybe modify it and have a look-see just to see how they can make sure that those kind of things don't affect.
All right, let's hope that there are no controversial calls today because Punjab are going to be bowling first we hope that Shivam Dube comes out after that call after the World Cup and comes out with even more confidence. How do you all feel with Shivam Dube getting into the World Cup squad?
I've been impressed by what I've seen from him. He's for me, he's a bit of a Yuvraj, isn't he? The way he strikes it, and he's made that little one technical change and it seems to be really working out for him. Good left-handed option. And he's got a bit of a presence at the crease. Big fella, isn't he? So I've liked what I've seen from him. Maybe we need to see what he can do with the ball a little bit more. I think Indian fans would want that. I don't know if Chennai fans would, but Indian fans would want to know that they've got another little option. There's someone who can do a little bit.
And Rohit's been saying that as well. He said that he told him during the India-Afghanistan game that go and bowl. And we've heard that he's been bowling in the nets as well.
Absolutely. That's what definitely this has been told. And I know Ajit had actually told the CSK people make sure that he keeps bowling in the nets, keeps that bowling in practice because they'll need him. Apparently him and Yashasvi Jaiswal both have been asked to bowl. But it's very interesting also. Last year he was a destroyer of spin. That's what he was doing. He was destroying spin. So now whenever he walks into the crease, nobody tosses the ball to a spinner. So they bring in the fast bowlers. But where it's worked out for both CSK and India is he's now destroying fast bowling. Just take a look at that. This year, he's got his 172 against pace and 169 against spin, which is absolutely amazing. So I think somewhere there he's really, in some ways, because he was so good against spin, they threw paces at him, and I think it's really been good for his game and good for India, of course, in the long term.
But Polly, we spoke about Dube, the bowler. Like you said, Indian fans would like to see more of this. How difficult is it to just be bowling in the nets as opposed to actually having match practice?
Yeah, it's huge. You can put as much time as you want in, but it's holding your nerve. You can hold your nerve easily in the nets against one of your teammates, and he hits it up in the air. You say, "Oh, that's out. That's no issues." But it's getting into an over. You've bowled 2 or 3 deliveries and you've disappeared. Like, how do I finish this over? Where's that confidence? Where's that nerve I have to hold? And from a captaincy perspective, you want to have extra options. That's why Rohit's making those comments. He's thinking to himself, you never know which game we get into. I mean, we saw a case in point the other night with Chahar. 1 delivery, he bowls, with 2nd delivery, out with a groin. And now you've got to find 3.5 overs from somewhere else. You might have one other option who might not be suitable on that day. It's wonderful to have those other options. It's very dangerous going into a match with just 5 options and not having your part-timers. And the part-timers only become better by time in the middle.
Well, like Polly said, it's very different to be playing a match as opposed to net practice. How much ever net practice we do, I don't think we can answer Joyda's question on the match day either. So let's have a look at his question.
Okay, just a bit of this thing. In which specific way are Saurav Ganguly, Michael Hussey and Kusal Pereira connected? And this has nothing to do with any statistics. It's a much more general thing. In which way are they connected? And it's a fun answer.
Oh, like some relatives.
No, they're not related to each other.
Okay.
Aren't they all left-handed?
They are all left.
There you go, I got it. Okay, that's how they're connected. They're all left-handed.
They're all batters.
Yeah, all batters and they're left-handed.
But I'll tell you, left-handed is a clue.
Ooh. You get half a point for that.
Okay, the clock started. We're going to see who's going to get the right answer.
We forget the timers in today, right? No, we're just kidding on the timer bit. But we are running out of time for our prediction game.
You guys.
Ruturaj and Ajinkya are opening. I'm just giving that heads up.
2-7.
I was also planning to go there. I'll go 2-12.
2-12, 2-2-7. I will go 2-33.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah. I just feel it's Dharamsala. We know the ball can fly because
You
of the
can't
altitude.
come and wear a yellow shirt and go 150, can you?
True that.
Well, let's hope that one of us gets the prediction right. We need Polly to get off the mark. So let's really hope that someone wins, please. And of course, see a nice, exciting game, high-scoring game, which we haven't seen in some time. We'll be giving you all more updates at the 10-hour point. So do join us at the Cricbuzz Combox. We'll see you all soon.
जयपुर वाया कोटा कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೆಗೆ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दें